So I guess it's official. If they were going to bring CM Punk back, it would have been at Raw. Now CM Punk has been gone since the Royal Rumble. It's been over a month, and they haven't mentioned him at TV at all. They stopped following him on Twitter. It's for real. It's not a work.
I thought Heyman mentioned him.
That's what I'll get to.
Okay.
Because they realized in Chicago the crowd was going to be blowing up for him, which they do. They start off the show with his song, and here comes out Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman sits in the middle ring. They had to be very careful, though, because I think they still want CM Punk back. They didn't bury Punk, how they buried Bret Hart after Survivor Series 97. They didn't do that. They basically said, Paul Heyman basically said, I'm disappointed, too, that CM Punk will not be here, but you have yourselves to blame because you started loving him. And so when that happened, he started caring about what you guys thought, and now he's gone. And it's all started with his loss to Undertaker last year at WrestleMania. And now I want revenge with Brock Lesnar. So he actually was great because he segued into getting heat for the current match. It was actually brilliant. Paul Heyman is probably the best guy in the mic in the business right now.
He's good.
So it was a shame, though, just because, I mean, when you heard the news that you thought it was going to come out, it was a little bit of a tease. It was a little bit too much with that, but at least they said at the beginning of the show that he's not going to be here, if you believe them. Then again, the fans still believe that. Multiple times throughout the show, they chanted CM Punk. They try to drown out a lot. At the end of the show, Daniel Bryan getting beat up by Randy Orton, Triple H, they really chanted CM Punk thinking he would come out. It would be a perfect time for it,
right,
to him come out through the crowd or something, but it didn't happen. So, with that said, at this point, it looks like CM Punk's not going to be involved with WrestleMania 30, which is a big... It's regretful, obviously.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, once again, this is where I'm a little lost because it's modern product. I also was lucky enough to see CM Punk wrestle in some of the smaller organizations, but I haven't seen him wrestle in forever, so I don't know exactly what I'm missing at this point. I know he was good back then. What I would touch on is just some of the negative reactions people gave to CM Punk for not coming out. Or for him not, taking it to Twitter and saying, I'm not going to be there.
I brought that up. Like, he could have maybe said that. But
we don't know that he can actually talk about that. He left with 6 months left in his contract,
still under contract,
I believe.
So
he's still under
He's not released.
He's not released. So he probably can't talk about it. In two, it's... I don't know. I feel like the poor guy was in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. He wants to stick up for what he thinks is basically better wrestling. So he leaves, and then people get pissed when he doesn't come back for the quick pop with a storyline. And it's just like, I don't know. There was no reason, even if he could have told you when he said he left, there was no reason for you to not believe him. Like,
sure.
This is the problem with wrestling. This is the problem with people leaving companies, and I've seen this tons of times. Is you never know if it's a work or a shoot. And I think people really deep down wanted this to be a work, but I mean, from day one, it had all the signs of a shoot.
That's because 3 years ago, when he was going to leave the company, they basically said, here's the mic, go out at Las Vegas Raw and say what's on your mind. At that point, he was going to leave,
right?
And so they worked it into a brilliant storyline, which got mainstream. Remember, it was called the Summer of Punk of 2011.
Yeah, I remember.
It was in the mainstream. They were talking about it in ESPN about, is he going to leave?
Yeah, I know. I remember
they're talking
that.
about the promo. The promo is one of the best promos of the past 10, 15 years. And so when that sort of situation arises with someone like that, yes, reality and storyline does sort of blur. But they could have worked it in brilliantly if he had come back. But obviously, he's serious. At this point, he's done. I mean, he's going to wait till his contract runs out and then either do whatever, go to Japan, or just sit home.
Yeah.
He's not young anymore. He's 35, which he still probably has 3, 4, 5 years he can wrestle. But he's probably beat up. He's probably burnt out. Wrestlers don't get time off. Wrestlers don't.
And it's like I don't know, the people who turned on him who are fans who aren't fans because he left. That's like saying that you're not friends with someone anymore because they left their shitty job where they were horribly mistreated.
I left the shitty job. Yeah. And when people are gonna say, "Oh, well, screw him for leaving that job," it's like, no, it's you can leave. You have the right to leave any job.
And I've always felt this way about performers. They do it because they like it, and their paycheck is reliant on fans, but they don't owe you anything. Like if it's miserable, they don't owe you anything. It's any other job. When they're done, they're done.
Sure.
So anyway,
we'll see what happens. It's a shame because like I always said, like CM Punk I think he helped maybe behind the scenes get the better wrestling content to the forefront. He helped behind the scenes get guys a push.
Yeah.
that needed it. You know, he was obviously a strong proponent of Daniel Bryan. It's one of the reasons he was probably gone, because he was disappointed. Batista winning the Rumble, which he was exactly right. That was a horrible decision, which is why they've been backpedaling and backtracking the past few weeks to fix it.
But he's going to be in a movie. That means people care about Batista.
exactly.
Yeah, like that is
That's the dumbest thing ever.
that is 1999 WCW
and
thinking.
And they did the same thing with The Rock. He was not pleased when they gave the title to The Rock, and The Rock ended CM Punk's streak when he came back last year and won through a Rumble. He was not pleased with that too, obviously, because he looked at it as disrespect to the business, because a guy comes back not in great wrestling shape again. But at least with The Rock, The Rock is charismatic and was popular.
Yeah, I like
Batista?
The Rock. Right.
No. You know, like, doesn't make any sense. The guy wasn't good 5 years ago. The guy wasn't good.
Right.
He was putting on passable matches against, like, John Cena and Mysterio.
You put that on your resume?
Passable matches against Mysterio and John Cena.
Purveyor of passable matches.
Yeah. So I tweeted out that, hey, I can get up to speed in a few months. I'll wrestle. My shoulder's a little iffy, you know, but I'll get in the ring. I'll cut some promos.
Wonderful.
I still have lots of dreams about I'm a wrestler. I told you, like, a few times a year at least, I'll have dreams that I'm a wrestler.
I used to have those.
But the funny thing about that is I'm always, in my dreams, I'm always undercard or never booked to perform. I swear to God. So in my dreams, I'm always seeing the ring and talking to other wrestlers, but I'm always like, you know, just a guy that I'm on Sunday Night Heat. You know, I'm
just hanging out, yeah.
I'm just hanging out.
Holy shit,
you know,
Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, that has been on like 10 years at least, you know. Or Shotgun Saturday Night.
Yeah.
So in my dreams, I'm always a guy that, yeah, you know, I'm a good wrestler, but I never get my shot for whatever reason.